Today marked 600 days of full-scale war in Ukraine, with battles reportedly taking place in these areas. On Donetsk front, battles continue near Avdiivka and south of Marinka. While the Russian offensive in Avdiivka is slowly fading out, south of Marinka, another Russian offensive is underway near the town of Novomikhailivka. Simultaneously with the offensive in Avdiivka, the Russian army attempted a series of armored attacks against the Ukrainian positions south of the settlement. In this direction, during the last few days, the Ukrainian 79th Air Assault Brigade repelled at least 2 major Russian assaults, causing heavy casualties and destroying a large number of tanks and armored vehicles of the Russian army. Before launching their attacks, Russians conducted a massive wave of artillery shelling and airstrikes using TOS-1A MLRS and FAB-500 airdrop bombs over the Ukrainian town. Ukrainian Shadow drone unit spotted one of the Russian TOS-1A systems, which operated from the nearby village of Stepne. After finding its hiding place, the Ukrainian artillery shelled the building, but the heavy artillery system likely survived the explosion. However, 2 days later, the Ukrainian drones found the TOS-1A system in a firing position not far from the village of Stepne, and the Ukrainian forces destroyed it either using a kamikaze drone or an artillery strike. Today, the 79th Air Assault Brigade released more footage showing the destruction of 2 Russian armored convoys which organized a double attack on the Ukrainian positions in Novomikhailivka. The first Russian convoy moved through an open field trying to storm the area, suppressing the Ukrainian positions and trying to land groups of Russian infantry forces. However, the Russian unit was spotted by reconnaissance drones and was ambushed by the Ukrainian artillery, which managed to destroy at least 1 T-80 BV tank, 1 MTLB armored fighting vehicle, as well as 1 BMP infantry fighting vehicle. In the footage, we can also see 2 destroyed armored vehicles that seem to be previous losses suffered during the heavy battles that have been taking place for the past 2 weeks in this area. The other Russian unit attacked moving along the tree lines about 700 meters southwest of the first convoy. Here is the geolocation of the second Russian convoy, about 4 kilometers south of the town of Novomikhailivka. It seems that on this road, the advance of the Russian forces was slowed down by metal anti-tank barriers known as the Czech Hedgehog. The barrier slowed down the Russian armored units and forced them to move through a narrow path, becoming an easy target for the artillery of the 79th Air Assault Brigade of the Ukrainian army, which managed to destroy almost the entire Russian convoy. From the footage we can see that on this road, in about 600 meters, Russian forces lost at least 9 or 10 pieces of equipment, of which at least 3 are main battle tanks. During the previous week, Ukrainian forces destroyed another armored unit consisting of at least 2 tanks and 2 armored vehicles. In the direction of Avdiivka, battles are ongoing north and southwest of the Ukrainian stronghold. The intensity of the armored assaults of the Russian army has significantly decreased, and now the Russian forces mainly seem to be trying to advance using small groups of infantry forces, attacking in the direction of the Terikon north of Avdiivka, as well as in the vicinity of Sieverne and Tonenke. In the north, the Russian offensive continues to be stuck near the railway and the stronghold of Terikon, while in the southern part of the front, Ukrainian sources contradict each other. Ukrainian source Deep State reported over a slight advance of the Russian forces south of Tonenke following the capture of some tree lines in an area of about 1 square kilometer southwest of Sieverne. Other Ukrainian sources say that due to the high intensity of the Ukrainian artillery fire, including the use of the cluster munition rounds, Russian forces suffered heavy casualties and were forced to abandon some of their positions south of Sieverne. The Ukrainian forces used kamikaze drones to hit and destroy Russian assaults along the railway south of the town of Avdiivka, and at the same time the Ukrainian artillery is inflicting great damage to the Russian forces in the rear. Today, a Russian soldier published a video on Telegram showing that the Ukrainian artillery is actively targeting the Russian army along the N20 highway, which is the main supply line for the Russian forces west of Krasnohorivka. The footage published by the Russian soldier shows several destroyed pieces of equipment and dozens of deceased military personnel about 2 kilometers east of the town. Friends, if you like my daily updates, I kindly ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as this will greatly help the channel to reach a wider audience. That's all for today's update. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and have a great day.